What up, demons? It's your boy, Tom Battinger, here with Anatoly Alexeyev as we get ready for our North American side of the broadcast. PS4 and Xbox on the European side put to bed, and Vaporish Coast kind of leading the charge.
We've seen two similar themes so far, where the undefeated team that was 7-0 lost in their respective regions. Can this be a three-peat now with Shrimp Gang?
It could be. Shrimp Gang, one of my favorite team names. I like crustaceans. I like things like that. So Shrimp Gang going to be pretty strong here today. But as we look across the way, what does their opposition have to say?
Benedicts Cvlry, I'm expecting, something feisty out of them. They're sitting at 2-5 in the standings right now for the PlayStation North American side. Not at the very best of the mix, considering that they have a tall hill to climb.
Sure.
So they're going to need to find not only this set victory, but pretty much every other victory to follow to try to climb these standings.
Let's take a look at the standings and see where everybody's sitting and how all the teams have been performing so far. As you said, Shrimp Gang undefeated, sitting up there on top. Cyclone will be 2, and then Benedicts Cvlry, down there at the bottom. Certainly a David-Goliath match for sure.
It's going to be a difficult task for them, but it's going to come down to what I think is going to be the duo lane. A formidable name, Neximus, in the hunter position for Benedicts Cvlry, needs to really find a way to make it difficult for Zaxy, the hunter from Shrimp Gang.
Absolutely. I mean, Zaxy has been really fun to watch, just continuing to control everybody and really make everybody know that he is going to be one of the stronger carries in the league.
And it's not only Zaxy that they got to worry about in the dual lane from Shrimp Gang. You got to worry about Jumpah. You got to worry about Xcovi in the mid lane. Something that they're going to bring to the table is an aggressive soul laner, Iniquid. Zaxy, no stranger to console world, playing the Xbox in yesteryears, now transitioning into the PlayStation. Doesn't look like a stranger in this world either.
Not really at all. These guys certainly know what they're doing. And as we really break it down, oh, come on, man. There it is. As we really break it down, I mean, these guys, Shrimp Gang, I don't really know how you beat them. They're just so strong in all their positions.
And Jumpah has been playing very aggressively early on his last set against Big Money Esports. We could be seeing that again today, depending what he picks.
Multiple multi-kills there on the Thanatos. Certainly an aggressive choice. Whether or not he goes Thanatos is a different story, but whether or not he stays aggressive, well, we certainly know how Jumpah has won some of his first games and now still kind of doing that as well. Benedicts Cvlry, on the other hand, certainly have had some troubles trying to find their victories, and here again, it's going to be a tall task.
Especially when you're facing a team that's undefeated, right? There's a lot of footage of Shrimp Gang and their success, so maybe that's something that Benedicts Cvlry can use to their arsenal, is doing their homework, finding out what the tendencies are of Shrimp Gang, and finding ways to prevail against that strategy.
And Mystic Salmon has been pretty interesting in the hunter role, trying to keep up with what everybody's trying to do here. And I think that's what the Cavalry in general have been trying to do, is just keep up. They're trying to tread water here, and it's very obvious that sometimes they just don't have what it takes to really take home the victories. That said, they do have some star highlight plays occasionally, so that's what I'm going to be looking for Benedict. Can they line all their ducks up in a row and really find the victories that they're chasing after so hard?
And they need to be more consistent, and also in their roster, switching it up from time to time, whether it's Shaolin, Daniel Perez. So it's difficult to really get these wins when your rosters are changing from time.
Exactly. You got to keep things kind of consistent to keep them going. But picks and bans should be on the way for game number 1 in just a matter of moments. And when we get into it, Shrimp Gang, what are you expecting to see out of these guys?
Honestly, just pure out aggression. If I'm 7-0 in the situation that they're in, I'm firing from the woodworks. I'm going to have fun with my Thanatos jungle, for example. Something with Blink to look for those flashy plays.
Let's see if they got it. Picks and bans right here for game number 1 as we get into the action. Shrimp Gang. What is the SGS? Shrimp Gangs.
I think it's Squad.
Shrimp Gangs.
Squad?
Shrimp Gang Squad.
I think so.
I thought it was like multiple Shrimp Gangs. Shrimp Gang, Shrimp. Just coming back to it. Well, the band's coming out a little bit interesting as well, just like their name. Arlong Shen going to be banned out. Across the way, we've got the Merlin, a little bit more standard. SGS is going to ban out the Jormungandr as well. The big boy, the snake, not going to be showing his, I won't say ugly head, his pretty cute head. And Cavalry, on the other hand, banning out what could be a King Arthur, could be an Achilles, and it will be the Khepri.
Yeah. Surprised to not see the Arthur band there. You got one Arthurian Pantheon gods stripped away with a Merlin.
Yeah.
Arthur left open on the table.
Sure.
Time to get in there and mix it up.
And that's not even going to be taken, actually. from
No,
Shrimp Gang.
we're going to a Chili's. Half-price apps. We're only halfway through the day, Tolly.
I don't know how to respond to these.
We're only halfway through the day. King Arthur going to be the solo leader of choice for the Cavalry. And we'll see how the stance switcher does. King Arthur has been very, very strong since his release, but has been touched a little bit by the game, touched a little bit by the meta as well. Players trying to, 1, figure out ways around him by way of sustain, 2, find ways around him by way of just being better, and that's kind of where Achilles and Bellona come into play. A number of options. He's no longer this ineffable character that you can't really compete with. There's a number of things that teams have done to really deal with him, and right here we see Shrimp Gang doing just that. King Arthur and Xbalanque, two of the highly contested characters. On the other side, and SGS going for Achilles, Jingwei, and Discordia.
And I'm not even expecting this Achilles to be in the solo lane, honestly. Like, that might be for Jumpah in the jungle role, trying to be aggressive and look for the early picks. Whenever he as a player, Jumpah, gets an early momentum, it's hard to stop him from doing whatever he wants to do. So if this is in the jungle role, I'm already liking SGS's draft.
Well, the Horsemen right now have a fantastic draft as far as draw power is concerned. Hera in the what should be the mid lane. We have seen some jungle Hera here on the Xbox, but that's neither here nor there. Some Hera in the mid lane most likely, Xbalanque in the long lane, and King Arthur in the short side as well. Cavalry are going to ban out the Odin, and we'll see the Ao Kuang ban here from SGS. We'll continue on the bans looking at the orange squad, and it'll be the Artio, and after the Bearmon ban, the Shrimp Gang squad. There it is.
There you go.
We've got one more ban here. And it'll be the Raven.
Another jungler. Ao Kuang, more of your hyper carry late game. Raven's more of like diver backline, make it difficult for your mid-mage to do anything useful in the game. And Shrimp Gang trying to figure out who their solo jungler is going to be. Also their support, because Achilles is flex pick. You don't know exactly where mattkoiz likes to go, because he's been kind of flexing his identity a little bit, where he used to go Geb and Khepri a lot in the past, but now going for more aggressive junglers gives his team more flexibility in what they want to do.
Ganesh kind of in between. Ganesh has been kind of the quintessential backline guardian, but a good placement of the box and a strong dash, you can really make yourself into an aggressive guardian as well. So Ganesh kind of playing both sides of the field in that respect. That'll be the support for Cavalry. And across the way, Sylvanas will fill that role with a Naja in either the jungle or the solo lane. I think the former a little bit more likely than the latter. Cavalry, last selection. Oh, I thought... I get tricked out. There's something on the picks and ban screen that moves.
Okay.
That I think is the lock-in.
Okay.
And it's not the lock-in, but Ratatasker we picked up. You're laughing at me.
I don't know. It's just it's a funny Monday with you right now.
I thought, you know,
you got me so good on the Chronos. Like earlier, I'm still tickled by that, by the way.
Well, game one. You know what they say? Let's go.
Help.
Shrimp Gang up against Benedicts Cvlry, game number 1, North American PS4. Ladies and gentlemen, first and fourth seed, I hope you're ready for the throwdown here on console.
Oh my god, I'm so amped. Let's go, baby. Little Sylvanas for mattkoiz. That's what we like to see. Let's get it done.
And he should be able to look very strong on this as a comfort pick for mattkoiz. Really the whole squad.
Whoa, where's
here.
the energy go, Finch? You
Oh,
can't,
no,
you can't let
dude.
me down easy like that.
Well, you're right. That's my bad. So let's get this pumped up. mattkoiz on Sylvanas. A signature pick for
That's
mattkoiz if I've ever seen one. Nickwood. Nickwood's on Achilles, a god that can carry a game by himself and a man that can carry a game by himself. Jumpah on the Naja as well. So really stacked from top to bottom is Shrimp Gang.
But he's up against the legend Terry in the solo lane. It's going to be a tough matchup, man, playing the King Arthur.
And they're already swinging, trading blows back and forth around the blue buff, looking for the invade as Shrimp Gang. And I think they'll have to leave empty-handed, jaws on the floor after a tough defense from Benedicts Cvlry.
Hopes dashed, never to be seen again. Just cannot bring themselves to ever hope the same way. Nice double root from mattkoiz, sets up Nickwood. But Nickwood's getting low, but so is Daniel Perez. Oh, just misses on the second combat.
And there's no way Nickwood's going to let this one get away. Not here, not now. Or maybe he is. He pulls up finally. Lets up, but this blue buff's going down. That's got Shrimp Gang's name all over it. I've never seen a buff more secured in all my life than that one right there by Shrimp Gang.
Finch, it's Monday, man. I can't. Eventually, I'm just going to run out of gas here. If this were Wednesday, maybe. Lunyrtic in the mid lane. Under some siege. Already has his beads down, but good body blocks from Jumpah. Get a little bit of extra damage in. Nicely done.
It is indeed nicely done as we taper it back off here. Shrimp Gang had a huge start to this game, but it's slowed down since then. They've even got another blue buff in the bank if they want to go grab that one, as mattkoiz is spending a bunch of time over here in solo lane. Again, it's something we've seen more of, man. The supports are just trying to figure out where to go at the start of the game. In the SPL, it's been almost universally this. Just supports over here in solo, leave the hunters to farm in duo. Right now, though, in like the SCL, SML, they haven't been quite as sold on it. So surprised to see Shrimp Gang falling along.
Well, it's really just this matchup dependent, I feel like, as well, because Ganesh Xvlry have very little kill potential against Zaxy. Sure, they stole away his purple buff, but Zach's getting solo farm, and it doesn't really matter that much if he loses out on the buff XP and gold. So may as well just stay in lane here, soak up these solo waves. mattkoiz with the blue buff invade going their way and securing their own side blue means that he's sitting in a pretty good spot in relation to where Neximus is as well. So, and Houseplant. So you can see how this start doesn't really cost Shrimp Gang a whole lot. It gets Zaxy marginally ahead and Legendary marginally behind. So it ends up being pretty good.
Not too bad at all. They want to be here for the red buff invade. Blue buff will not satiate Shrimp Gang, not this early on in the day. And the red buff goes down. They grab it for themselves and get out scot-free, or at least they should. Eventually, Zaxy makes his way out of there. So they control the jungle really on every side of the map so far to get things started. This is exactly the kind of pressure that you want to be able to find, especially if you're the #1 seed going into this matchup against Benedicts Cvlry, who've really had some struggles so far this phase. You should be able to come out and control them.
Absolutely. I mean, Shrimp Gang is the de facto #1 in North America, and it really isn't close with anybody else yet. I mean, Shrimp Gang's had some games where they look mortal and not quite dominant. I think they've got a lot to clean up if they want to compete with the top end of not just Xbox, because remember, the midseason invitational, there's crossplay opportunities. So you have to compete potentially with minor league teams, and if you win that, then you've got to compete with SPL teams, and so you've got a lot ahead of you, and I think Shrimp Gang is still a ways away from being ready to win those sets, but you can tell that the potential is there for this team. I mean, they've got a couple long-time console players, a former world champion on their squad. These guys have won before at this level. I'm just anticipating that they're going to clean it up when it comes time to play against the big boys.
All this jungle farm being stripped away has hurt Daniel Perez a good bit, who only just now hit level 4, whereas Jumpah's been at level 5 for a while now. That last blue buff spawn on solo side, I don't even think Legendary went over there to contest it. Nick would just kind of walk over and took it away from the Chaos side of the map. Now he's coming back to grab his own as well. So I think Legendary's kind of given up on coming out of the jungle at this point in the game, and is instead kind of going to cede some of that over to Nickwood until he's able to get that Glad Shield.
Glad Shield done now, though, so he's kind of okay. This is the King Arthur check, where once we get Glad Shield, we're good for a while in that lane. But Nickwood should definitely have enough to get a Glad Shield of his own. Actually, a bit surprised he doesn't have enough for Boots 1 with how much of a lead I'd anticipate that he has after invading blues and getting his own blues entirely as well.
Another red buff invade, but Neximus and Houseplant will be here for this one this time. So Neximus drops the ultimate to turn on the lights. That creates confusion, but Jumpah does not give up on the buff. Daniel Perez goes up into the air. He'll be able to drop right back down and immediately starts looking for Jumpah. Argus is there as well from the Hera, and suddenly there's too much damage now coming out from Benedicts Cvlry, and Shrimp Gang in trouble, but Jumpah responds, take Houseplant way up into the air, away from everything else, and Zaxy finds first blood in the game against Benedicts Cvlry.
Nicely done. All across the board. Everyone gets an A for that one. Good bait from Jumpah, and really patient as well on the ultimate. He just ends up in a good spot as Legendary nearly ends up falling in the 1v1
Almost.
to Nickwood, but able to just get out of range of that fatal strike, both in getting hit by it and in execute range. But Jumpah eats well, almost ate an ultimate from Daniel Perez. That was a bit off the mark. But then Lunyrtic puts all of his damage in, but just not enough in the early game. Only Boots 2. You just don't have enough to really insta-kill it, even an assassin.
couldn't quite find the kill. On top of all of it, Shrimp Gang got the buff too. So, about as good as that could have gone for the Order side so far throughout this early game, who are probably feeling more and more confident with each passing moment, as Benedicts Cvlry have had a bunch of, not even tests, like pop quizzes that Shrimp Gang have put to them, and they haven't had the answers yet. So eventually Shrimp Gang are going to start stepping further and further forward, taking more, and really asking Benedicts Cvlry those tough questions. And with the way things have gone so far, I'm not so sure they have those answers. They've got to find what farm they can and make sure they're ready.
Finch, what do you think I've done to mattkoiz to deserve him putting his blessing after the boots?
Let me think. Is there any chance you ever took his lunch money? Like, he was here for a couple lands. Did you maybe steal some of his fries? Something like that?
Not without asking. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, then I can't think of a good reason. And really, he's doing this to all of us, and it's unacceptable.
Yeah, it's not just us. It's the fans watching at home.
Yeah, even his teammates, when they hit tab, they're going to see it every time. You know?
And it's just not where I understand
tab,
it tilts
obviously.
the enemy. And let me be clear. This would tilt me if I were on the other team. I would want to kill you more for putting your blessing second. And
It's
I'm
just
not
wrong, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not joking right now. I mean that truthfully. But it's not worth it. Especially like in a ranked game, it's like whatever, no one's really seeing it. This is on broadcast, man. Like, have some respect.
Right, yeah, everyone is here and seeing this, so
Yeah.
you know, just that's just something to consider as 4 members rotate over to the left to make sure this purple buff does indeed go down. House Paint will be there nearby. I like how they have
What's up?
2 people whose names are almost spelled correctly. Legendary and Lunyrtic are
Yeah.
both almost words. I like that.
Well, they're words, just not real ones.
Right, I guess.
And remember, words only have the meaning that we give to them.
Yes. They don't have inherent meaning, apparently, to some people.
No.
A lot committed there to kill mattkoiz, and that didn't happen. It was the Darkest of Nights and the Darming Pillars all committed, and mattkoiz walked out.
Did use a sprint, so
Oh, he sprinted. Okay, then there you go.
not nothing at all. But
that's not
I don't even know if that was a necessity. That's what the Darkest of Nights is there for, though, is to make you question what danger you're really in. It's hard to make those decisions without the info.
Zaxy goes in aggressively, immediately gets caught, has to use the beads and the ultimate to disengage. Ambitious is not enough to describe what happened there.
Yeah, my man Zach never been lacking for confidence.
Right.
I'll say that. As someone who teamed with him for a while, he's definitely always feels like he's in a good spot to play aggressively. And honestly, he was there. I mean, he's up 2 levels. Losing purification beads in exchange for shell, maybe not your best trade, but I don't hate it.
I'm surprised they used Shell. They were really worried in that situation. He is like 40 stacks ahead, though, of Neximus, so he's not wrong, I think, to press the issue. It's just difficult. If nothing else, House Plant blocks the autos, so it's just going to be difficult to actually get the kill.
I've always said, if there's one lane who I want to just brainless at someone, it's probably AC.
The jump was quite low and in some trouble. Up in the air is Daniel Perez, and he ends up getting that kill, I think, gifted to him by Houseplant. mattkoiz in some trouble as well, and that's the double now for the Ratatosker to answer back. It's Benedicts Cvlry with the kill lead, though the Golden Experience still heavily favoring Shrimp Gang.
Jumpah didn't want to use beads or the ult. His ult may have just come up on the respawn. I know he used it in the left lane to try and get a kill over there, but certainly the purification beads could have been used to get him out of that slow. Probably wouldn't have been enough anyways. Might be the smarter call to just hold on to them from that position and end up with them up for the next gank opportunity, because I don't think there's any way he survives that last fight.
I certainly know Daniel Perez is here, and he does not have his ultimate to get away, so the Strife lands. He still had beads, let him reposition, gets him away from the apple, but the fatal strike off the Mark II. Nickwood, though, still in range to clean him up with the autos. Now Legendary left to try and revenge his friend, but can he do it? Not when the Strife lands and locks him in place. And yes, for Camelot, for Avalon, but they know exactly where you're coming back down, which takes him up to the sky.
Jumpah all over it. XCovi there with the cleanup as well. Great rotation in from XCovi, and that early Divine Ruin certainly helping him out on getting that kill onto Legendary.
Oh, the no dash. I thought for sure Neximus would immediately Rising Jaguar away, and so did Zaxy. But Neximus just kind of faked it and then dashed away into the jungle.
Nice.
I like it.
Good patience, because he was dead if we were to dash the normal way, which is north towards his tower. Heads up play when getting bodied in the 1v1.
It's all you can do sometimes when Zaxy has a 3-level lead over you and has Ninja Tabai completed and the Devourer's Gauntlet fully stacked even a Light Blade there for a little extra attack speed. So it's not an easy task for Neximus to find any victories there. So we celebrate the small ones as Houseplant and Lunyrtic wish to defend the red buff. There's plenty of Shrimp Gang nearby, though. This will not be an easy defense. They even bring Daniel Perez over to try and make sure another one's not stolen, but he's pulled in immediately. So much damage coming through. Darming Pillars comes out as well, and the Argus to create some space, but I don't know if Perez can reinitiate. He's so low.
Zaxy doing his best up against Houseplant and doing pretty well with it. Jumpah not quite as well with that ultimate, but Ring Toss does slow down Houseplant. That forces the shell. Zaxy playing very aggressively right now, uses Purification Beads as well just to make sure that he's able to clean up Lunyrtic underneath his tier 2 tower. This marginal lead that Zach was given with this start from mattkoiz has been really turned into a massive one very quickly.
Stripping away that red buff yet again. Shrimp Gang finally kills yet again is Shrimp Gang. And now coming over to grab the Gold Fury for the first time is Shrimp Gang. This isn't the only side of the map that's been in their favor. The Totem of Ku appears to have entirely gone to Shrimp Gang as well. Just everywhere around the map where they could find some kind of advantage, they've been able to grab it to the tune of an experience lead in for XCovi of 2 levels and Zaxy of 3. And these carries having a hard time feeling relevant, even relative to the assassins and the supports now, because they've been pushed so far back.
I will say that this Winged Blade for mattkoiz, I really like the idea of it. One of the easiest ways to kill the Sylvanas is Houseplant, just dropping those Dharmic Pillars and really slowing you down and messing with you. Daniel Perez has a slow, Neximus has a slow, Legendary has a slow. It does, I think, take some value away from his sprint pickup at level 1. He has to be very wary to make sure that other people are getting slowed and not just him, because he'll immune the first one. But I like the Winged Blade. I do wonder if Lotus Crown first, then Winged Blade is a little bit better, because you're less likely to have slows get stacked against you when you're not actually team fighting yet and you're more invading. That's kind of like one big burst slow and then that's it. But the idea, I think, is solid here from Koiz, and that's to just frontline really, really effectively with his extra health and movement speed. And he did a great job in that fight. He gets Daniel Perez's ultimate, pulls out the Dharmic Pillars from Houseplant, comes back, heals up XCovi, right back into the front line. He was juggling his responsibilities nicely.
And he is actually going to be a bit of a speedy boy, isn't he? He's got the Traveler's Shoes and the Winged Blade. Fatal Strike from Nickwood lands as well, and Legendary does go down. So mattkoiz zooming, and so is his solo laner. Houseplant drops the Dharmic Pillars. Argus comes over the top 2, and Jumpah actually does get locked down inside that box. Not where you want to be. Apple finds its way to Lunyrtic way in the back with a nice bounce off the wall, which does end up working well. XCovi gets a double kill for himself, taking down Houseplant and Perez. And now Neximus in some trouble. He'll certainly be caught as XCovi almost gets it, but it's Zaxy with the auto.
Beautifully turnaround there by Shrimp Gang, because that looked like a pretty good fight for Benedicts Cvlry. I mean, Jumpah dies without using his ult. He really, really patient on the Purification Beads to the point where it was too patient for Jumpah. I think that was the first time he used the beads basically all game. He's really been saving those for the right moment and then waits a little bit too long on them. But ultimately, Shrimp Gang, their carries are just too far ahead, Finch. I mean, Kovi's just doing too much damage. Zaxy's just doing too much damage. And look at the net worth charts now. It's 5 members of Shrimp Gang and then 5 members of Benedicts Cvlry. Those aren't color sorted. It's descending order. That just means that all 5 members of Shrimp Gang have more gold than the highest member of Benedicts Cvlry.
Daniel Perez is that member, but it's still just not quite enough to catch him back up to the rest of Shrimp Gang, who've had a great start so far to this early game, and now the Lotus Crown finish for mattkoiz. So I like this. It feels like really it's like this sort of cheat build that works, as he's just so far ahead that he's been able to kind of cheat his way into a nice bit of tankiness.
I'm really hoping,
yes,
that Lunyrtic misbot, because that's Warlock Staff 2.
Yes, that's what it is.
Nothing else builds from
15.5 minutes. Yes, and yes.
And you are really far behind.
Yes.
And you know how long it takes to stack a Warlock Staff?
Well, it's 100 of them.
It's 100 of those stacks. And how many do you get per minion kill? That's one.
And it's 6 minions in a win.
Right. That's a long time.
Well, it'll be a long time before you see Legendary, too. 35 seconds.
I will be actively surprised if this is Warlock Staff, if Lunyrtic finishes stacking before the game ends.
Yes. If they make it to that point, though, it's Galaxy Brain.
You want to put 200 gems on it? You want to bet?
Can I give you 200 gems? How's that work? I'll just gift you some.
Yeah, we'll do some
Wait, which
gifting.
way do I have to take the bet that he does finish stacking?
Yeah.
No, then I don't want to do it. No,
Oh, unlucky.
Yeah, unfortunately. as xCovi takes quite a bit of damage there from the Argus coming through. Dharmic Pillar is good as well to lock down this Discordian, give her no options out. Everyone's silenced as well, but he has no follow-up. Jumpah isolates Lunyrtic and finishes that kill.
Nice
and now
ult.
with the blink in, a perfect ultimate, locks down House Plant, and this plant will wilt under the weight from the rest of Shrimp Gang. That's 2 members down. And the Order side, you're going to head right back towards the Pyro.
Man, that's some plant-on-plant violence right there from mattkoiz. That's
Yeah.
that's messed up.
You think they'd be like closer friends, but
Seriously.
I guess not.
Now, yeah, fire. Who needs Pyromancer? This is Fire Giant. Absolutely.
You're right.
I love this call from Shrimp Gang. No reason to let off the gas. I mean, no way anyone gets in to contest this.
Neximus doing his best just to get farmed up. It's such a deficit he's staring at between him and Zaxy, so he's trying to farm his way closer to that. The rest of Shrimp Gang should be able to grab this 17-minute Fire Giant uncontested, while Benedicts Cvlry are entirely zoned out. In fact, Jumpah might even be able to punish Neximus, who's down 2 levels. Sash lands, he can't auto inside the tower range, steps out first, and so Neximus has to dash away.
Jumpah's gonna have that ultimate up pretty soon. He's got 20% CDR with that Jotun's Wrath and some from Blackthorn Hammer as well. So 30% CDR. He's gonna be able to throw out those ultimates pretty frequently. He's still giving the chase, but Houseplant showing up might be a deterring factor.
Lurked around the corner, maybe trying to see if he can catch him out, but can't. So Jumpah will steal the purple buff, as if
I'll take
they
that.
haven't taken enough from Benedicts Cvlry. They're 11,000 gold out in front, and that plans to get worse. The Oni Fury to come through to give them an extra wave to push with. Not an extra wave, but a stronger wave is a better way to phrase it. And even if they're in one lane, Benedicts Cvlry have to pay some respect to whatever lanes they're not in, because those Oni waves will just push by themselves for sure.
Now Koiz gets to finish off his Gauntlet of Thebes. He's going to stack that much more quickly than the Warlock staff that was just completed by Lunyrtic.
Well, it couldn't have been anything else.
I really thought maybe he was like trying to buy, I don't know, Ethereal Staff?
Sure.
Gem of Isolation. Both those items are awful on Hera, and they would both be better in this spot than a Warlock staff.
Well, yeah, he's very far away from having
If
that.
you sort by the power tab, I don't think he could have found a worse item to buy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking real hard right now, and I don't know what would be a worse in the power tab. Maybe like Telekines by itself.
Oh, that's fair. Well, no, it's just more power.
It's finished now, right?
Yeah, I think it's better.
It gets the advantage of being done already when you buy it.
I'm testing Telkine's Hera tonight.
That's right. Jumpah blinks in, can't find the sash, and Lunyrtic escapes with his beads intact. Now they begin their siege on left side Phoenix, and the autos are strong, but Argus has something to say. Legendary swings with him, but everyone already out of the Dharmic Pillar except for mattkoiz. He's been made the target early on, silenced as well to limit his options, but he wiggles his way out of there, and xCovi punishes the king, sends the crown toppling down.
Easy for Koiz. Good ult from Jumpah yet again, this time on the Neximus. He falls quickly to the damage for that Windfire Wheels, and mattkoiz not too deterred by getting low on HP between the Fire Giant regen and those Wisps. He's good to go.
Gets everybody else healed up and can get right on over here, pushing the tier 2 in middle lane. So far, this has been very, very clean from Shrimp Gang. Now 15,000 gold out in front. And you can really see the disparity between these teams. 15,000 experience as well, which we're so early in the game that that's very much relevant. 4-level lead between these hunters is so much. 2 is the minimum in middle lane. So it's just they're just so far behind. But even just look at the items. Devourer's Gauntlet's boot Odibo for Neximus. I mean, there's a kin size between them in terms of value.
And the Executioner for the pen as well. No pen yet for Neximus, and between all the physical defense that the Lotus Crown is going to give mattkoiz, all the items that Nickwood has, I mean, I don't know how Neximus is going to be able to kill these frontliners. And the build's fine, it's just they're down by 1 million.
mattkoiz locks up 3 with the Wrath of Terra. Can't walk back through the ultimate. Jukes for his life, but can't juke long enough. He ends up falling. Benedicts Cvlry force back Shrimp Gang for now as Argus nearly finds Zaxy. Polymorph just a little bit out of range, and he makes it out as Jumpah battles up against the King Arthur and left. But finally, Shrimp Gang have recognized they can't just keep pushing in. They got to go back and spend some of this gold and then regroup around this FG, which should be spawning before too long.
And they've got plenty of that gold. That's the problem. So they've been soaking a lot of waves and pushing a lot of waves, and they've got plenty of gold to spend, I'm sure. Yeah, 2,500 almost for most members of Shrimp Gang. Easy for them to spend that. They've got
just open up the store.
Yeah,
It's real easy.
press left on the D-pad and you're good to go.
Do you think you'd buy as much stuff if you had to like back every time you bought it?
Do you mean in real life?
Yeah.
If I had to be at my house in order to buy things,
Do you think the fountain is their house?
Well, yeah, that's where you like. I mean, that's where I rest up,
Mm-hmm.
restore my health and mana pools.
Sure.
That's my house.
Okay. I doubt the gods lived there.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about like I'm not changing into a god in this instance, right?
No,
It's
no.
Just oh, maybe these 50 stacks of Warlock staff will help.
Well, let's see. Lunyrtic in some trouble, but has a huge HP pool. It's just not enough, though. Jumpa chews through it, no problem. Big knockup comes through from Daniel Perez, but Zaxy shrugs it off and sends the rat running.
Good attempt there by Jumpa to peel for Zaxy, just a little bit off the mark. So hard to tell where that rat's going to land, though, in that ultimate. But idea definitely solid for him, and with mattkoiz back and ready to heal again.
So, yeah, you can only spend money from your house.
Well, how does it work if I like go out and go shopping?
You can.
Then I would absolutely spend less money.
Yeah, there you go. See?
What about, like, I could only order food?
From your house?
Yeah, like order delivery to my house.
That's that's the only place I order food.
I can't, like, go out to a restaurant, though, if I want to.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. No, you can't, no.
I'd spend a lot less money if that were the case. I'd say the majority of the money I spend is on food.
Yeah, probably.
Because I just really like to eat.
Yeah, I mean, you have to every day. mattkoiz knocks up 2, though.
Maybe
Maximus and Houseplant. That means the right side Phoenix goes down.
I
and
only do it because I
Shrimp Gang-
want to.
Is that right? So you don't need nutrients?
Not me.
That's pretty sick. You want to test it?
No, because I don't want to. I think I've made it pretty clear, Finch, that I eat for enjoyment only.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying let's just test if you need those nutrients.
Why would I do that?
Because I'd give you, let's say you don't need it. I'll give you $200.
Ooh. That could be some food I'd enjoy eating. With just for the pleasure only.
Right. And not at all.
Right. All right. I'll consider.
Yeah, just let me know how that goes. Sure. Jumpa looks for a sash again, isn't quite on the mark. Phoenix in mid is firing away, but mattkoiz barely taking any damage. And immediately in goes Nickwood. He's kept Lunyrtic busy in the back line and forced out a defensive ultimate all by himself. Jumpa sash is down legendary, but he regroups with the team and has made it back for now. Dana Perez doesn't find much with the knockup either, and mid-Phoenix getting lower and lower and more under siege, but Nickwood might need some assistance on the right-hand side. He gets away from the polymorph, and I think that's enough for him to get out too.
Shell was solid for mattkoiz. Argus still on the case, but can't quite finish off the tanky solo laner. Nickwood was keeping everybody busy on Benedicts Cvlry for a full 30-40 seconds, and they still couldn't find the kill.
Well, now that Obshard completed for Lunyrtic, I can't imagine he'll be wanting for damage at this point. Up in the air is one. xCovi kills him the second that he lands. It's Neximus that returns to base. Wrathatira came out from mattkoiz to create some space as well, but the Titan should be the target. Shrimp Gang can bring it down quickly. Legendary has Zaxy busy on left-hand side, so that's why they're missing a lot of their sustained damage, but either way, they just have too much. Lunyrtic at least gets mattkoiz, but a double for xCovi, and that should close out the game. Shrimp Gang take down Benedicts Cvlry, 24.5 minutes.
They made it look easy, too. I mean, 7-0 and 7 for xCovi, 4-0 for Zaxy. I mean, the carries just got ahead early on, and just the constant red buff invades made it nearly impossible for Benedicts Cvlry to stand up to him.
That's right. I mean, remember, they started with some blue buff invades on the solo side as well for Nickwood to help him get ahead. Really,
That's
just controlled the entire jungle.
Those blue buff invades were super hyped, too.
They were I was pumped, dude.
They were really intense.
Yeah.
The red buffs, they were cool, but just not as intense.
No, not nearly as exciting, I guess, as I would say is what happened with those blue buffs. But really, that game never felt in any doubt, did it, for Shrimp Gang?
No.
They were out in front from minute 1, and they never slowed down. They never created a path back in for Benedicts Cvlry. And to be fair, Benedicts Cvlry never really created a path back in either. The Warlock staff is such a long-haul type of play, especially third item. I don't know when they're expecting that value to materialize.
You have to give me my 200 gems, by the way, because those stacks were not complete.
That's right. Yeah, sure. Just send me your name on SMITE. I'll send those to you.
Cool,
Let's get it back
aggro.
over to the desk, though, and they'll take care of the rest.
Oh my God, what a game! It was fantastic. The Shrimp Gang go to the Jumbo Shrimp Gang. Crustaceans, rustaceans. What a game. Crazy cool. Bang.
Boom.
Hurrah.
Pew pew.
It's only you always got to ruin everything. Fantastic stuff at a Shrimp Gang as they find their first win. It's exciting, like Finch, right?
Sure, yeah. I mean, they are who we thought they were, right? Shrimp Gang still undefeated at 7-0. That blue buff invade Phenomenal stuff. Naja, Achilles, not much they can do to really stop that. But it was actually mattkoiz on the Sylvanas that enabled that blue buff invade from happening.
mattkoiz playing on the Sylvanas, some of the classic stuff. Cvlry coming out, though, looking real strong. I really liked what we saw to Cvlry, a number of good things. Here's Cvlry doing a number of good things.
The Discordia, the Strife, the Unruly Magic, getting himself a double kill.
Yeah, here he is. He's going to dash away to the back and then just, shoot stuff out in front. Real clean stuff coming out from Cvlry here. Gets another kill against Legendary _X and Daniel Perez 45 going to fall as well. There's Lunyrtic getting a kill with his 12 Warlock stacks or whatever. I'm sorry. You got to get roasted for that. You can't buy a Warlock staff at 15 minutes. He had rank 2 Warlock staff at 15 minutes. I know that Aggro already rolled his eyes in it, but I have to double down. Lunyrtic, what are you doing? That is the wrong... There is no world where that is the correct purchase. Very rarely are things black and white, and I am telling you in black and white that that's wrong. I don't get it. I don't like it. I don't want to see it. Totally close my eyes.
In the third slot, I agree. I dislike this purchase. You don't have time to finish it,
Gross.
especially when Shrimp Gang is this aggressive to punish you by fighting around these objectives. You're not getting the power curve you would want from this item. However, if you were to rush this item, it works well on a Hera, considering that she's very difficult to kill with the shield, having more health, never a bad thing on a mage. You're just never going to find the stacks that late in the game.
I agree. Listen, if you start rank 2 on the Warlock staff, you can finish it. What do you need? Around 1,300 gold, I believe. You can finish that in about 7 to 8 minutes without a kill. If you get a kill, you push it down to about 6 minutes, and then you stack it up, and you need 100 stacks. There's 6 minions per wave. The waves come every now and then, so you're winding up finishing that around 15 minutes. That's still a little slow, but we can talk about it. Third item starting in 15 minutes.
Yeah, not going to be the case this time around.